Hare Krishna, welcome everyone, welcome. So today we are covering one of the most important verses in the entire Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This is the 3 levels of God realization. Vadanti tattvavidas tattvadyajnanam avyayam prameti paramatmeti bhagavaniti chabjate. A very, very important verse. Let me 1 second. See if I can share this also. Share that. So I'll just begin with chanting the verses that we've covered so far. Vyasuvacha iti samprashna samhrishto vipranam ramaharshanai pratipuja svachasteja pravaktum upachakrame yam pravajantam anupetam sutavacha yam pravajantam anupetam apeta krityam dvaipayano virakattara ajjuhava putreti tadmayataya taravo binedus tam sarva bhuta hidayam munam anatosmi yasvanubhavam akilam shutasaramekam adyatmadipam atitik tishatam tamandam samsarinam krunayaha purana guhyam tam yasasunam upayami guru muninam Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devam saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet moya sadhu prishtoham bhavadbir lokamangalam yatkata krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidati sabaipam samparo dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaitaki patihata yatma suprasidati. What's the next one? Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojata Janati Asyu Vairagyam Janam Cha Yad Ahaitukam Dharma Swanushtita Punsa Vikshvakshena Katasuyat Notpadet Yadiratim Shama Eva Hikevala Dharmasya Hyapavargyasya Narto Artayo Pakalpate Nartaya Dharma Kantasya Nartasya Dharma Kantasya Kamo Labaya Hismitaha Kamo, and then the last, and that's verse 10 is Kamasyaniti Nindriya Pritir Labo Jiviti Yavata Jivasya Chatpa Jigyasa Narto Yascheha Karma Vihi. So this last verse is saying that human life, our life, is meant for Tattva Jigyasa. It's really meant to understand truth, the self, God, the soul. And so that realization is going to be defined in this verse. What is God? What is this realization? Vadanti tattvavidas tatyajnanam avyayam prameti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabjate. So this verse is describing 3 levels of realization of the supreme absolute truth. So that Vadanti, I believe is just people. Vada means, let's see. Well, Vada means philosophy, but I think it's related to speech. Let's see. Vadanti tattvavidas. They say, yeah, so they're speaking. Vedanti, they say, tattvavida, those who vida, who know tattva. Tattva is means truth. Actually, the word tattva comes from this word tat. Does anybody know what the word tat is? Mr. Adam or Dana K? It's an English word. All you have to do is add an H in it. Tat. Tat means that. Tat means that. So how does that relate to truth? Tattva, that-ness. Va is like ness. So something you can point at, something you can identify, some kind of, like we have the different tattvas, different categories of understanding. You can examine different subjects according to different categories. So something you can see, something you can identify, that something that is there, that is true, is called tattva. Tattva yajnanam, tattva vidas. Tattva, so those who know, who vidas, who know tattva, they call tattva this non-dual, avaya jnanam, this non-dual substance, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So there are many nice examples. One of my favorites is the train example. So this is different examples of stages of God realization. So if you can imagine, there are some villagers that have never seen a train before. They're Aborigines. They live in the jungle, and somehow they hear that now there's this industrial expansion is happening, and there's going to be a train station built near the jungle. So they go out there and they see what a train is, and so that's three heads of family. So one, they're out there waiting, and they see from a distance. They see, what do they see, Carmen?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, can you repeat that question again?
So the villagers are there to see what is train, and so the train is coming from a distance, and they begin to see something. What do they see?
It's from a distance, and they probably see like a dot.
Okay. Adam, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I would say they would see a bright light.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh my god.
The light, they hear something. They hear something rumbling, shaking the earth, and they see light and smoke. It's kind of like a Wizard of Oz, all lights and smoke. Just see,
Right.
and he's like, a train, and he just runs home, and he's like, I saw a train. I'm like, what's a train? It's a light. It's like almost as powerful as the sun. I've never seen. It's more than any of our fires that we have. It's such a bright light, and this light is so powerful, it shakes the earth, and this light has smoke coming out of the top of it. And the next guy stays. He stays all the way till the train pulls up, and he sees these people coming off with their luggage. He sees the different cars. He sees the gears moving. He sees the smokestack. And so he runs home, and he tells his friends and family, what is a train? He's telling them what a train is. The next guy, he gets on the train. He rides on the train. He meets the train conductor, who shows him how he's operating this thing. He has some chai in the cafe. He feels the wind in his hair. He's never been so fast on anything in his life, and he actually develops a nice relationship with the train conductor. I know this is a really nice guy. He's kindly shown me how this whole thing runs. And so he goes home and tells his friends and family what a train is. So that's one example that's given. Another example is a mountain from a distance. What does a mountain from a distance look like, Mr. Adam?
What does a mountain look like from a distance? It's big. I mean, it's
Does it look three-dimensional?
No, it just looks flat. It looks
it's
just
kind of almost. Sometimes it's really hard, from the distance. It's sometimes hard to tell. Is it a mountain? Is it a cloud? You can't even tell. It doesn't have any texture of like a slope. You just see the ridge. Like, is that a mountain? So it's kind of two-dimensional. And as you get closer, then as you get really close, then you can drink the water in the mountain. It's actually one thing. It's just our distance, our perception of it. And then another example that's given is the sunlight. Like say you live in a what is that? Is it Greek, or that's a kind of that philosopher gave this example of somebody living in a cave, and then they just saw the light on the shadows on the wall. I forget who that was, but say if you're living in a cave and you see some sunlight, and you try to, that's one level of realizing the sun. But maybe you've not gone outside and see that there's actually a ball that's just this pure luminosity that's emanating this powerful light. And so that's another stage of realization. And then the final stage is actually you meet the God of the sun. That's the kind of very traditional example. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And then another example is, what is the other one? That you may be walking down the street, New York City, and you smell some pizza. Where's the pizza coming from? You're smelling the pizza, like, wow, where is that? Where is that? So and then as you get a little closer, then you see the pizza. It's in the window. You know, it's like this nice vegetarian pizza shop. You're so fortunate. And then, but the real kind of desire of the person is actually to interact with that pizza, to taste the pizza. That's the best. To smell the pizzas, there's some awareness, but you actually, when you see the pizza, you actually know it. You actually have some kind of understanding of the object. But to taste the pizza, that's the highest experience. And so these again are 3 different levels. Now, one thing to make clear is that actually there are 3 levels of understanding of the same thing. They're not actually 3 different divisions of the same thing. It's not that that the sunlight, and the sunlight gives kind of this sense of division, but the mountain example doesn't. The mountain example is actually, it's more understanding of perception. Like the famous example of the 5 blind men trying to understand the elephant, and one is holding the ear and saying the elephant is like this thick canvas. And the other one's touching the belly, saying, no, it's like a barrel. The other one's touching the leg and saying, no, it's like a tree trunk. The other one's touching the nose and saying it's like a python. The other one's touching like the tail and saying, no, it's like a rope. And so they're having different perception. So this understanding is actually 3 different levels. So one may, in the very beginning of their spiritual life, ask, well, where does this sense of hankering for eternity? Why do I want to live forever? Why do I not want to die? Why am I seeking that Sat feature? Is it because I am eternal? Is there a substratum of everything that is just actually eternally? Everything is eternal. Everything is actually an energy. Everything is a part of this one eternal substance. So that can be a stage of realization. Like if a person's never heard of gold, never seen gold, never heard it mentioned before, then would they seek gold? No. So why am I seeking eternality? Well, that must be something that's true. Must be something that has some connection to my identity. Because why am I avoiding any sense of that's against eternality? Why am I avoiding death? Because I'm eternal. It goes against my actual nature. So who can tell me what are the 3 qualities of the soul? Any Anybody know? Three
Is it like
qualities.
eternal, blissful,
Yes, yes,
Knowledgeable?
yes. Sat Chit Ananda. Like there's somebody made this T-shirt. Chit happens. Or there's that means knowledge. You know, and there's also devotee had a podcast or some kind of thing. It's called Chit Chat. Chit Chat. You know, talking spiritual knowledge. So Sat Chit Ananda. So Ananda is what is Ananda?
Bliss?
Bliss. And Chit is knowledge, and Sat is that eternality. So the Sat feature is, although, as it says in this verse, as we'll look at the verse, it says Advayam Jnanam. It's called a non-dual. Advaya. Dvaya means dual. Advaya, it means it's advaitic. It's just saying this is all one thing. It's all one thing, but it's being perceived and understood in different levels. Actually, Krishna has the power to reveal certain aspects of himself according to different levels, according to how someone approaches him. So we have that verse in the chapter 4, I think it's 430. Yeyatam mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. According to how a person approaches, surrenders, how a person reaches out towards the Supreme Person, I respond, I reward them accordingly. So if someone responds to God saying God doesn't exist, then his response is he doesn't exist in that person's world. In fact, he'll, in the heart of the person, as the Paramatma, the one who gives direction, he will even help that person think of different arguments against his own existence. Here you go. This is a good one. So he's the impartial facilitator for all creatures. That's the Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Shani Vishnu. I'm in everyone's heart. And from me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So he's or that Anumanta Cha, this verse in, I think, chapter 13. He's the witness and the sanctioner. So he's that impartial, that facilitator. So one may begin to realize that there's some intelligence behind everything. So there are three different kinds of spiritualists. Anybody know what are the three kinds of spiritualists might be indicated in this verse? Let me guess. One of them is a devotee. I took away the easy one. Now one is a yogi. And a yogi is someone who engages in the very serious path of meditation. And one of them is a philosopher, a jnani. A jnani is one who they may live in they live a yogic lifestyle, but they're not at the stage of meditation. They're engaging in this process of neti, meaning I'm not this, I'm not that. They engage in this way of seeing what they're not, and ultimately understanding, come to the point that I am spirit, aham brahmasmi. I'm a spiritual being. Everything is this Brahman, the spiritual. The basis of everything is spirit. So that's the level that a yogi can come to in his spiritualizing. Not a yogi, a jnani. But to go deeper requires a deeper practice. So that requires that meditation. And so the yogi, someone may have a perception, yes, there must be God. So the Paramatma realization it's similar to kind of the theistic realization of a Muslim or a Christian. There must be intelligence. There must be a leader, a supervisor of this world. Because Paramatma realization, Paramatma is really the feature of God interacting with matter. So you have Brahman is like God without any power, any Shakti, any potencies. That he doesn't have a variety of different things. There's no variety there. It's just oneness. Then Paramatma realization is the realization that God has powers, but you just understand, you just are aware of his material powers, how he's interacting with the material world. And then Bhagavan realization is this realization that he has his own life. He has his own spiritual energies, his spiritual potencies. So that's the way Jiva Goswami explains this verse. So God without potencies, God with material potencies, and God with spiritual potencies. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So like the person gets on the train and he meets the train conductor and realizes, well, this is a nice guy. I like this person. I want to develop a friendship with this person. The first realization is no sense of relationship. The second one, there's a sense of honor, respect, but it's not the sense of like, oh, this is a person, the object of love. This is the person whom I want to love. So that's fully realized, that's manifested in Bhagavan realization. And of course, even Bhagavan realization, there's different levels. There's the kind of still like that respectful, honoring, and then there's even more intimate of, I want to have a personal, like a friendship. I want to serve as with love, or I want to be even like serve as a parent, serve as the gopis are serving as romantic figures. So all the different relationships you find in this world emanate from the spiritual world. Everything you see here, it's got its perfect prototype in the spiritual world. Any questions, comments? All right, so let's take a look at the verse. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Let me pull it up.
Sorry, I was going to say, when you mentioned about the Paramatma, so am I correct in saying that that's meant to be, it's seated in the heart?
Yes, yeah. Well, Paramatma, you have the Paramatma. There are actually three types of Paramatma. You have the three Vishnus, and they're all known as Paramatma. So Paramatma, yeah, that's the idea that there is a being that each of these have each of these have their pervasive nature. So there is a being, and that being is in everyone's heart. It's like described in the Upanishads, that seated next to the soul within the heart is the Paramatma. And it's kind of like there's one bird just eating the fruit of the tree and completely unaware because he's so engrossed in eating the fruit of that tree. And the other, he has his friend who's sitting next to him, just sitting and watching, upadrashta, and just waiting for him to turn to. And so and then it's also described that the soul has a very small form within the heart, whereas the Paramatma has a form that's much bigger compared to the size of the soul. Now this is non-material, so you won't find them during any kind of heart surgery or anything like that. Does it even mean the physical heart or maybe the heart space? You'll find that when we say if we point to ourselves, we really point towards the heart, and that's because that's where we're at. That's where the soul resides. It's not I'm here. Let me point right here. That's where the soul resides. And so that Paramatma feature, yeah, it is localized. It is in one spot, but it also is in one spot everywhere. It's not only in the heart of every creature, bacteria, etc., but it's also in the heart of every atom. So if you have that book, Science of Civilization, there's that Vishnu form, and like the electrons are like spinning around him. Very nice photo. Or you could say photo, it's painting, but someone took a picture of the Paramatma. So, But then there's the Paramatma. There's three Paramatmas. You have one. There's the Para means super. Atma means soul. The super soul of the cosmic aggregate of everything. That's called Mahavishnu, and he's so big that universes come out of his pores like sweat comes out of our pores in little bubbles. And he goes into a much smaller form, which is basically the size of a universe. So the one form is so big that universes are coming out of his pores. The smaller form is he's so small that he's just the size of our universe that we're in, everything that we could possibly know and see and explore. And even when we take birth in various species of life, and even if we take birth on other planets, it's just in one universe. We're just in one little, very big for us, but compared to Mahavishnu, very small. And so that is the super soul of the universe. And then he gets into a much smaller form. He enters into the heart of all creatures and in the heart of every atom, and he has his own abode in the universe called Shvetadvip. So these three Vishnus, actually Krishna is called Turiya. Turiya means the fourth dimension. And Mahavishnu, these Vishnu forms are actually not called Turiya because they're still interacting with the material world in some sense. Krishna glances over the material energy of this Mahavishnu and impregnates the jivas, impregnates the souls into the universe by his glance. Where Krishna has just nothing to do with matter. It's like oil and water. He's untouched. He's not. And Vishnu, in a sense, is very close to that, but he has some involvement in it. He has some business here. Actually, there was a German disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he went to, before he was a disciple, he went to India, and he was seeing all these different temples. He's trying to find out who's God. And he concluded that it was Krishna. He said, why? He's got nothing to do. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to, he's not the, there's no expectations for him. He's just having fun in the forest, playing tag with his friends. And Vishnu kind of has a job. Vishnu's job is he takes a nap. He just takes a nap on the job. He takes a nap, and his potency is that his dreams become our reality. Just by dreaming, he actually creates our universe. That's very far up. So these are the three Vishnus, three Paramatmas. Generally, we're referring to Paramatma in the heart, but we can refer to the other two as well. And they all have some kind of, like we said, the Lord without potencies, or God without potencies is just and then God with potencies, but just the material potencies. Vishnu interacting with matter, and then God with material and spiritual potencies, three levels. Does that cover the question?
Yeah. No, thank you.
Awesome. What were we going before that? I forget. Oh yeah, we'll just pull up the verse. Let me see. Hopefully, I'm hoping my computer doesn't. Sometimes when I'm on live Zoom with a video, and then I try to share the screen, it just like crashes. I don't know why. It is a decent computer, so let's see. Open up database.
Apologies for diversing you.
What's that?
Apologies for diversing you.
Yeah. Learn and trend. Okay, here we go. Share screen. Another example that's given in Chaitanya Charitamrita is that not as an analogy, but it's a realization of Krishna's Brahma Jyotir, his aura. And the Brahman realization it's a realization of his aura. So here's the verse. Vadanti tat tatvavidas tatvam yajnanam abhayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti shabjate. The learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Okay, we'll just look at the purport. It's very short. The absolute truth is both the subject and the object. And there is no qualitative difference there. So that is a non-dual. That's what it means, non-dual. Therefore, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are qualitatively one and the same. The same substance is realized as the impersonal Brahman by the students of the Upanishads, so those are the Jnanis, as the localized Paramatma by the Hiranyagarbhas, by the yogis, and as Bhagavan by the devotees. In other words, Bhagavan, or the personality of Godhead, is the last word in the absolute truth. So if you have $5,000, automatically you have $100 and you have $5. It's already encased, it's already enveloped in that. If you know that, if you have been on the train and met the train conductor, then you know about the light of the train and the cars of the train. It's already in that realization. The other realizations are already contained within it. Paramatma is the partial representation of this personality of Godhead. And the impersonal Brahman is the glowing effulgence of the personality of Godhead, as the sun rays are to the sun god. Less intelligent students of either of the above schools sometimes argue in favor of their own respective realization. So someone could say the train is just a light. You talking about, there's no way a guy could live in the light. You know, the train is just a bright light that shakes the earth. You know, the villager who saw a train from afar, and he cannot even perceive. How can there be a person in that light? People don't glow. I've never seen a person who glows in the forest. You know, and he would be on fire because the light is smoking. You know, so he cannot. He doesn't understand that. He can't understand that realization. As we find in the book Ishopanishad, it says there's a verse where the prayer is the chanter of the Ishopanishad is requesting, "Oh Lord, kindly dim down your effulgence so I can see your beautiful face." So Krishna is actually, he is, as we mentioned, covered. Realization of him is covered by his Maya potency. What is that verse? Data K, do you remember the verse? You remember that one? I can see if I can give you, let me see if I can remember. What's the first word? Naham Prakasha. Naham Prakasha Sarvasya. I am not Prakash. I'm not manifest to all. Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Sama Vritaha. I am covered. Avritam means covered. I'm completely covered by my Maya potency. Yoga Maya Samavritaha. Mudo Yam Nabi Janati. The fool, the Mudha. Mudo Yam Ayam Nabi Janati. They cannot know me. Loka Mam Ajam. Who is, I am inexhaustible and eternal. Avyam. Lokamam Ajam, unborn and inexhaustible. And why can't they understand me? Because I'm covered. Now, if I'm covered, you can't see me, but I can't see you. So Krishna clarifies in the next verse that this is a type of tinted window. He says, Vedaham samatitani, vartmanani charjana, bhavishani tubhutani, mam tubedana kashtana. That I know all things in the past, all things that are happening in the future. I know all beings, and me, no one knows. So it's like a type of tinted window. He can understand, he can see, he can perceive perfectly, but we cannot perceive unless he removes this curtain. Either this verse is describing the effulgence, kind of dim down your effulgence, or even or the we have the personal perception. All those things are not understood unless Krishna agrees to be seen. So this is bhakti mam abhijanati. I'm only understood in this highest feature through the means of devotion, through the path of love. Welcome, Jai Hari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Swagatam. Okay, less intelligent students of either above schools sometimes argue in favor of their own respective realization, but those who are perfect seers of the absolute truth know well that these three features of the one absolute truth are different perspective views seen from different angles of vision. As it is explained in the first shloka of the first chapter of the Bhāgavatam. Oh my God, that's a big verse. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave lecture on that verse 4 to 6 hours a day for 3 months straight on that verse, because there's so much in there. Actually, if you look at the Acharya's commentaries, if you look at Prabhupada's commentary, it's on some 20 pages. If you look at Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, it's another 40 pages. And one devotee said he had a compilation, a book, that compiled all the commentaries on that verse, and the book was like this thick, just on one verse. So that's the verse, as it explained in the first shloka of the first chapter of the Śrīmad of the Bhāgavatam, the Supreme Absolute Truth is self-sufficient, cognizant, and free from the illusion of relativity. Is it, Jai-Hari, do you know that word, self-sufficient and cognizant? That's two really important words in that verse. Prabhupada talks about it in the purport. Do you remember it? It's okay. So the word is abhigya, means fully cognizant, fully conscious. That's the difference between the soul and God, is that he is conscious of all things. Like, I don't know if somebody here in the Zoom room really needs to go to use a restroom. I just know, I'm just conscious of this little body that I have. And he's swarat, he's independent. And so while we're in this material world, we're not independent. To see what we're looking on the screen, we need light. To survive, we need oxygen. To survive, we need a certain type of temperature to be there. So we're not fully independent. The truth is self-sufficient, cognizant, and free from the illusion of relativity. And that's another part of the verse. I don't remember the Sanskrit for that. In the relative world, the knower is different from the known. But in the absolute truth, both the knower and the known are one and the same thing. In the relative world, the knower is a living spirit or superior energy, whereas the known is inert matter or inferior energy. Therefore, there is duality of inferior and spiritual energy, duality of inferior and superior energy. Whereas in the absolute realm, both the knower and the known are of the same superior energy. There are three kinds of energies of the supreme energetic. So what was Srila Prabhupada's last words? And he chanted Hare Krishna, those were his last words, but the last thing he said was, know that everything moving and non-moving is nothing but Krishna. So it's either Krishna himself or Krishna's energies. The energy, you have the power and the powerhouse, the energy and the energetic, also called the Shakti and the Shakti Man. There's no difference between the energy and the energetic, but there's a difference in the qualities of energies. The absolute realm and the living entities are of the same superior energy, but the material world is an inferior energy. The living being is in contact with the inferior energy as illusion. So we are marginal. We can choose to be in the spiritual energy or be in take shelter of the material energy, the inferior energy. And he thinks he belongs to the inferior energy. He thinks he is the body. Therefore, there's a sense of relativity in the material world. The absolute truth, there's no sense of difference between the knower and the known. Therefore, everything there is absolute. So Advaya, that's the non-dual. And of course, since our philosophy is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, inconceivable, simultaneous oneness and difference, this word Advayam in this verse in relation to Bhagavan can be understood in a completely opposite way. Advaya, Dvaya means two, no two, but Advaya can also mean no equal, nothing similar. So the living entity and God are completely different because there's you can't compare. It's like comparing a mouse to the universe, or something very insignificant and small to something gigantic. So that's the Advayam, Asamurdva, nothing equal, nothing above. That's the position of God. Nothing is equal to him, and nothing is above him. Sama, not same. Urdhva, nothing above. Urdhvam gachanti satvasta. So we will pause here and see if there's any reflections, and then we can start practicing. Any reflections? Comments, questions? What will you take home with you? Data K?
I'm really still sitting with all your examples of like how you experience things and how you see things and experience them and how they're different. And so I don't know, that's really been sitting with me since you started.
Nice, yeah. You see, it says, they call this non-dual substance, meaning it said they're talking all about the same thing, but it's just how they have experienced it, exactly as you said. How they're relating and how they're experiencing it. Mr. Jai Hari Prabhu, any reflections? Any questions? Anything? The verse that
I like how there's the talk about the non-dual substance, and everything else is like kind of this. I'm just kind of here today to listen, I guess. So thank you. Yeah.
Mr. Adam, you're in Australia. Where you calling it from?
No, I'm from England.
England.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. No, I get that often, so it's okay. Yeah, I mean, probably the same as Dana. I really like the perspective, the different perspectives on what you spoke about, and I like I really like the examples you gave of like the one at the beginning about the allegory of the cave by Plato, like the kind of how there are different stages of perception, and we can look at things in like some of the examples you gave from like the mountain. The closer you get, the more that you see, and the more that it changes the closer you get, and vice versa. If you're far away from it, your perspective changes. So I really like that. So it was yeah.
Thank you. So we have this concept of Maya, and Maya is an active intelligence matrix. It's not like, okay, if I just really think hard, it's all going to become clear. Maya is going to actively disallow further realizations of, like one scientist is going to comb throughout every atom in this universe and won't find God anywhere. Another scientist, he'll comb through every atom in the universe and he'll find God everywhere. It's like he'll find, like, even the scientific, the pursuit of science. What is it? It's just like the person is seeking eternality. You know, the person that doesn't want to die. Why? Because it's unnatural to die, seeking eternality. Why is a scientist seeking structure? Why is there an expectation that if I look, I will find meaning and intelligence and some kind of, you know, some intelligent makeup? Because there's some expectation of an intelligence there. Otherwise, you wouldn't look for it if you didn't expect to find it. But this Maya is an active, like you see in the movie Matrix, you know, everyone is an illusion, but this thing is actually actively keeping you in illusion. And it's only when we are approaching when our consciousness has changed, that for the reason that we got to in this illusion in the first place, when that consciousness is moved away from that, then Krishna can allow that Maya to subside. So it's no matter how hard we investigate, we can come maybe up to the level of Brahman realization, but not further. Okay, so let's practice our verse. Is it big enough on the screen? The sloka? Let's see. Okay, there we go.
Maybe a little bigger.
There we go. Vadanti tat tattvavidas. I think, yeah, usually when they have this anti, this n, I think vadati is probably a word. I have to look it up, but that's usually like he speaks, but vadanti, it means like plural one. They, look, you see that tat, there's the tat again, the tat, that, you just got to add an H. And tat va is like ness. We have this prefix ness, thatness. Means like something you can identify, you know? So you can point out, so a truth. Vadanti tattvavidas. So everyone can repeat. You can have it on mute or you can have it on, but everyone repeat. Vadanti tattvavidas. Vadanti tattvavidas.
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Vadanti tattvavidas.
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Vadanti tattvavidas.
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Tattvam yaj jnanam avyayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam avajam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Vadanti tattvavidas.
Vedanti tattva vidas.
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 Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam avajam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam avayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Brahmeti paramatmeti.
Rameti paramatmeti.
Brahmeti paramatmeti.
Rameti paramatmeti.
Brahmeti paramatmeti.
Rameti paramatmeti.
Bhagavan iti shabdyate.
Bhagavan iti sabhyate.
Spiritual sound, shabda, shabdyate. It's so sounded. Bhagavan, they call it. They call it Brahmeti paramatmeti. Bhagavan iti shabdyate. So you've heard this word. Jair, you heard that word, isn't it? Shabda. Shabda Praman.
Yes,
Shabda
yes.
Brahma.
Yes.
So sound, yeah. So Bhagavan iti shabdyate.
Bhagavaniti Shabjate.
Brahmeti Paramatmeti.
Ramete Paramameti.
Brahmeti Paramatmeti.
Ramete Paramameti.
Bhagavan iti shabdyate.
Bhagavaniti Shabjate.
And just a little clue here for this word. This is one of the words that are usually mispronounced in temples. People say Brahman, but as it's spelled, it's Brahman.
Brahman.
You'll hear like the scholars and stuff like that. They'll pronounce it. Maybe they'll go Brahman. But it's, yeah, you can go like that if you want. You can Brahman. But there's nothing, there's no long A there at the end for that word. For Bhagavan, yeah, it's not Brahman and Bhagavan. See, Bhagavan's got a long A. What does Bhagavan mean? Who can
One
think
who
of it?
possesses all six opulences in full.
Yes. And then there's another translation by Vyasadev's father, and he talks about the Ba and Ga as different things. But Bhaga, the general one is Bhaga is things of attractive qualities. So you have wealth. What are things that are attractive?
Strength, knowledge.
Strength, knowledge. Okay, say someone is dumb and not very and weak. What else could they have?
Renunciation.
So they're very simple. They could be very simple, very detached from this world. Like people are attracted to Gandhi due to simplicity. What else could they have if they don't have simplicity?
Well,
Wealth, you say, yeah, you can. If you have money, people don't even care. You could have total bad character. Now, this beauty is actually not just physical beauty and talent, but it also refers to actually qualities. The person has a good personality, you know, nice, kind, sweet. Those are also attractive. So beauty, wealth. Somebody could be poor, ugly, dumb, not kind, and but they could have some internet fame, you know, might be a YouTuber. Maybe they're poor, but they have fame. Still, we're like, oh, look at blah blah blah. We want to go, you know, get their autograph or something. So beauty, wealth, fame, strength, or that physical strength, or influence, power and influence. You know, any of these. Now that being that possesses all those things to the unlimited degree, that's called Bhagavan. Because Van means to possess. Like Jnanavan in the chapter 7, text 19. Jnanavan, one who possesses jnana, knowledge. Bhagavan. So it's Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Is it? Brahman? Jahari? Brahman? Paramatma? Bhagavan. So is it Brahmeti Paramatmeti?
Brahmeti Paramameti.
Bhagavan iti shabdyate.
Bhagavan iti Shabhyate.
Vadanti tatvavidas.
Vedanti Tattva Vidas.
Tatvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Tattvam Yaj Jnanam Advajam.
Brahmeti Paramatmeti.
Brahmeti Paramameti.
Bhagavan iti shabdyate.
Bhagavan iti Shabhyate.
Vadanti tatvavidas.
Vedanti Tattva Vidas.
Vadanti tatvavidas.
Vedanti Tattva Vidas.
Vadanti tatvavidas.
Vedanti Tattva Vidas.
Okay, can you close your eyes and say the first line?
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Yes. Again.
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Again.
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Okay. And how about Vedanti tattva vidas tattva jnanam avyayam?
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Can you say
Tattva.
line 1 and 2 together?
Line 2 is difficult for me.
Tattvam yajnanam advayam.
Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Tattvam yajnanam advayam.
Tadvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam avyayam.
Vedanti tattva vidas. Tadvam yaj jnanam advayam.
Adam, can you read it off to us? Can you give us some chance?
Yeah. Which line? Or
Just do one line at a time,
okay.
and then we'll give space for repetition.
Okay. So Vedanti tattva vidas.
Vadanti tattva vidas.
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Vadanti tattva vidas.
Vedanti tattva vidas.
Okay. And then keep on going, keep on going.
Continue with the next line.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, sorry. Tattvam ya janam advayam. Carry on. Brahmati. Oh no, sorry. Brahmati Paramatmiti. Sorry. Bhagavan iti subjati.
Very nice, very nice. Now this word jnanam, it's funny. It's you kind of go full circle with this. So you come to the temple or you hear classes and you learn, okay, this word jnana, people pronounce it G-Y-A. Jnana. And so it's not J-N-Y-A. It doesn't really look how it's pronounced. But the weird and funny thing is that it does go kind of a full circle. Because if you learn how to say it like jnana, but then you hear like these Sanskrit scholars saying like janana, they say it how you would say it when you first walked into the temple. You're like, wait a minute, I thought I was wrong. And so what my understanding is these words are very, these are common words in all the modern tongues of India, and the modern pronunciation is more of the GYA. That's more of the modern pronunciation. The classical pronunciation will have more of this J in it. But if you say it the actual Sanskrit classical way, people will think you're saying it wrong. You see this word yat, janam. Yat janam. The T becomes a J because that's the law of Sandhi. When you put two letters together, then when you say it, the way they're said, just by proximity, affects the way the other letter sounds. Does that make sense? You follow? Like that when you say two words together, so it sometimes affects the way the other word it comes out. So yach janam. It'd be a little bit closer to the classical pronunciation. So that's why the J is not totally ignored, but more of. Does everybody follow? Like that's more of like the Hindi, Bengali. These are all more newer languages, and it'll be more of the G, ja, and then the Sanskrit would be more of the ja, like a little bit more J there. Got it? So that's why the yacht gets a J with it. Otherwise, you'd maybe expect it to have a G. Yajnanam. But it's yajnanam. Tattvam yajnanam avyayam. So you can say it. Tattvam
Tattvam
yajnanam
yajnanam
advayam.
advayam.
Tattvam
Tattvam
yajnanam advayam.
yajnanam advayam.
And this last part is what you'll hear quoted a lot. First part of the verse, it's a little bit harder. This one you're going to hear a lot. You're going to read it. It's going to come up a lot. Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaneti shabjate. Brahmeti. 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 See? Paramatmeti. Bhagavaneti shabjate. Okay. So I think we're at our time. Any questions, any comments, or we'll head out. You got to practice this, and then you can keep it with you. You can always hit up the WhatsApp group, and we can. We had a very nice one last Thursday, and we covered with not Dana Kate. Well, who? My brain is sorry. We covered like 6 verses. Huh?
I said, was that Kylie? You and Kylie?
Kylie, yes, yeah. Kylie Brown. We covered like 6 different verses in one class. We
Wow.
practiced them all.
Oh,
So she's catching up because she had 2 and 3 she skipped, and then like 6, 7, and 8 or something. We had 7, 8, 9 or something like that. We worked on.
wow.
So you can, if you have free time, any free time, just throw in something in the chat on the WhatsApp, and somebody may pop up and say, "Hey, let's go for it," because we're all studying the same thing together. So you can always jump in there on the WhatsApp. Jai Hari. All right. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.